Blog Talk Radio.
What time is it?
WH Radio.
Welcome back to WrestlingHeads Radio. You got Skits. I am live here with Chris and Oscar. What is going on, gentlemen?
What's going on, Skits? And Skits, before we continue, I just want to say, I know you're happy that Batista's back.
Negative.
Wow. Damn.
Today, here on the show, we have a special guest. We have one half of the Forever Hooligans. We got Rocky Romero. What's going on, man?
What's up, fellas? How you guys doing?
Everything's
Just
good,
great.
man.
Good.
Thanks for being on the show, man. We definitely appreciate it, man. For you taking your time out. It's an honor to have you on the show.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get this thing started. I'm going to go ahead and have Chris go ahead and start this thing off.
Yeah, and off air, I asked, I had to ask that question, and so there's no way that I'm not going to ask about a guy that trained you, Antonio Inoki, and it's well documented how popular he was, and not only but how important he was to the country of Japan. How was he as a trainer, and more importantly, how was he just as a person? You know what I mean? Because he's so, it's Inoki. Describe how he was.
Yeah. Actually, that's a pretty interesting question because not many people actually ask about that particular question or person, which was kind of weird. But so basically when we had the LA dojo open over here in Santa Monica, New Japan did, and it was basically the dojo was built because he wanted it built. That was his place because he lived in Santa Monica at that time, and so he actually just wanted a facility that was, 5 minutes from his house. So basically, they built this facility, and then that's how it started with, they wanted to look for talent and bring people in and all that. So, it was me, Brian Danielson, TJ Perkins, Ricky Reyes, Jack the Bull, Samoa Joe, and Justin McCulley. That was, the first group of guys.
Yeah.
And Antonio Inoki, he'd come in, and, it was we'd wrestle with him, we'd do jiu-jitsu and shoot, at that time we did a lot of shoot wrestling and that kind of stuff like that at the dojo. It was more based around stuff like that than more than the professional stuff. But he would sit there and, we'd work out with him and, he'd show us different, old school techniques catch style stuff, submissions, and just things that he was known for, his workouts. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, he has this series of old school workout type things that the catch guys used to do that I guess they learned from Carl Gotch and Lou Thez used to do all these guys. So he would show us these stretches and a bunch of different stuff. So we were actually pretty one-on-one training with him. He was busy. He'd always go back and forth from Japan, but I would say maybe 2 weeks out of the month or so when he was in, he would come in almost every day. And we would train with him, and he would speak about wrestling in general, and I learned a lot from him just because his philosophies and things and how he would see the business were completely different from anybody else I had heard talk about the business before. For him it was really more of an art, and he'd explain things like matches and and tempos and things like that, comparing it to music. And just think different. Just look at the business in a completely different way, and then that's you could really understand why he was such a huge star and such a big influence on the business, is because he actually looked at the business in a different way. So same thing as Vince McMahon or or some of these guys, guys who are doing things now Shinsuke Nakamura or Brian Danielson or something, so we were pretty one-on-one training with him, man. and these are the kind of cool things that we would get to be around and listen to. And I actually had a pretty good relationship with him. Myself and Justin McCulley probably the most. Like he later on, when he was still in New Japan, he booked me into going to that, like they did like a loop in Italy for like a week. And I actually wasn't supposed to be on it, but this is like, for example, this is like how our relationship was. So I was in Japan, had the best Super Juniors. I think I just started as Black Tiger as like the first Super Junior I did. And we had a week off in between because they're going to do this loop in Italy. And so some night, I don't know, after a show or something, somehow I got invited to go eat dinner with Inoki and like his crew. He always had like an entourage of people that he always went out with him and whatever. And we ended up at I don't know if it was his bar or his friend's bar or something like that. And he was asking me if I was going to Italy, and I was like, no, I'm just going to be hanging out here in Japan at the dojo for the week. And he was like, I mean, you should be on it. You're such a great wrestler. You're my favorite student, I was like, okay. All right. So then the next thing you know, I go home that night, and in the morning the office calls me. It's like, oh, by the way, you're going to Italy. I was like, oh, okay. So, they ended up going to Italy for, and it was cool because it was an awesome experience. I ended up dislocating my shoulder in one of the matches there, but they were at the end of the Super Junior for that, and I was out for like 4 months, but it was still cool because I got to go to Italy. But I mean, that was just kind of like how he was and how he operated. Was he was obviously was the owner of the company, but stuff like that would change, at the drop of a hat or whatever. So
yeah. I mean, like I said, I mean, when I first saw you, I was like, this guy stands out. More than others. I mean, way more. And I was like, and I started looking up on, and this was years ago. Jesse Hernandez helped train you, and then I always wanted to know, is that true about Onoki? But you totally see the influence there because you obviously stand out. And it obviously had an impression on you and helped you get you where you want to be in this business. And I always wanted to ask that because, like I said, you stand out more than others. And I just wanted to see if that was true, that those greats trained you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, that, like I said, it's an interesting question because no one's ever asked me that question, ever. I don't think, And usually people see that, they think it's bullshit or maybe like, how much could he really have learned, But I did learn quite a bit of things from him, and it was a pretty cool experience. Yeah, it's actually a really cool experience. I mean, the guy's been in the business for like, I don't know, 50, 60 years or something, whatever it is. I mean, he knows everything, So it's cool to listen to somebody.
Started New Japan. I mean, he started New Japan in 1970. I mean, he's done it. And like I said earlier, how important he is to the country itself. I mean, Onoki. When I read that a few years ago, I was like, what?
Yeah.
If I ever get a chance to ask him, I'm right at it again. I have to ask him. Sorry. Sorry, yeah.
That's awesome.
All right.
Oh, very cool.
Who's up?
I guess I'll ask him next. My question to you is, before you became a professional wrestler, what wrestlers you look up to?
I mean, to be honest, I was on the Hulk Hogan bandwagon since day one, Hate to say it now, but of course, it's just as a kid, but obviously he stuck out to me because he was such a godlike character in the wrestling world, But before then, then as I got a little older, then it was like guys like Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio. And then once I started training, I got into like the Japanese stuff, and then it was like Liger, and then like Sayama, the first Tiger Mask, and Dynamite Kid. Because I remember like Dynamite Kid's run like a little bit with the Bulldogs, but like they didn't really stick out to me, as much. But when I saw like Dynamite Kid against Tiger Mask, that was like that blew my mind, Like this is better than the the stuff that the cruiserweights were doing in WCW at the time, and that's the stuff that I loved. And they were doing that, in the 80s, and it just blew my mind, So But yeah, like for me, like my biggest influences definitely were like Eddie Guerrero and probably Ray. And then I took a little bit from everybody, man. I like all kinds of wrestling. I like lucha. I took a little bit from like Negro Casas, from the lucha stuff. A little bit of Tiger Mask here and there. Rollerball Rocco. I've taken stuff from everybody, man, and just a little bit and pieced it all together and kind of made what I am, out of that.
Yeah, that cruiserweight division back in the day was freaking awesome. You got Chris Jericho, Rey Mysterio, Psychosis. That was fun to watch back in those days. And yeah, man, he took me back. now
you know what's really cool? Yeah, you know what was really cool about that division though is that like every week, right? Even if they had like a little feud and be like every week they had these matches, but all the matches were always different and they were always exciting, like always different. And it was like, damn, how could they come up with better stuff than they did last week? That was things that I used to notice,
Yeah, and now I don't know if you noticed, having this WWE network coming up, and they have everything. They own WCW videos, ECW stuff, and when it comes out, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be watching some old WCW cruiserweight matches like from back in those days. Especially the time when Jericho was the champion, he was going against Rey Mysterio, Dean Malenko, and all those guys back in those days. It was fucking fun. Yeah. So
that was my favorite time too. When Jericho was champion, that was an awesome time. That was one of my favorite times of that division.
Yeah. And really, started his career. Skyrocket from that time. That's how it all started.
Right.
Yeah. All right, Skits, you got a question?
My question is, when did you realize that you wanted to be you want to basically be in a business?
I was in middle school. I would say it was like 8th grade for sure. I think it was like 7th or 8th grade, maybe like the summer going into 8th grade. But I had a group of friends. Like every time there was a pay-per-view, we watched the pay-per-views and stuff. We got like pizza and the whole 9 yards and shit like that. And I knew from that moment like how much I was into it and how much like I would spend my time like researching about whatever information I could get at wrestling. As like the internet was like progressing and everything. So I was like, man, this is what I want to do. 100%. I remember making just saying, hey, this is exactly what I do. My friends would be like, yeah, we want to do it too. And my one friend, he came with me to like the first training that I went to, however long ago later that was. I was like a junior in high school or something. And he went to the first training and he never came back. And from that day that I went to that first training, I was there if we had training 3 times a week that week, I was there all 3 times. That's how dedicated I was to it and how much I wanted to do it.
Yeah, definitely.
So, definitely. I remember it sticks out in that moment, like 7th or 8th grade, middle school, where I was like, I'm gonna do this no matter what anybody says. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Chris.
All right, I'm gonna go with traveling. And one of my lifelong dreams is to go over to Japan, not just to experience the great wrestling over there, but the culture of the country. And how hard is the traveling abroad to Japan? How do you deal with the jet lag, the hours of the flight? How do you cope? Because you go over there quite a bit. Is there any tips? Or how is it at the beginning?
You're fucked most of the time. I arrive there, usually we arrive there, and it's usually, so for me, coming from LA, it's not too bad. I think it's like 11 and a half hours there. And usually, we get in, whoever they got to pick up, we pick up there at the airport, and then whoever's on the tour or whatever, and then we head over to the hotel. Now, the thing that sucks is after spending, 12 hours almost on a flight, and then you got to drive 2 hours from the airport to Tokyo,
Okay.
So that fucking sucks, So that's the part that I hate, because especially we do a lot of our shows. We start them when it's like a holiday season or something, so over a 3-day weekend or 4-day weekend or whatever it is. So there's a lot of traffic, There's tons of traffic of people leaving and coming to Tokyo, So sometimes those 2 hours turn into 3 hours, and that drives me nuts. And everybody too, So all the boys, we go a little bit nuts on the first and last travel days, because those are usually the hardest. Once we actually get on tour and we're like, we're good, and a couple of days, like the first night you get a little sleep, the rest of the next couple of days, it starts to get a little better. And no matter what, the first couple of days you always wake up at like 4 a.m. for some odd reason. So like you go to sleep, you still wake up at 4 a.m. Even if you go to bed at 12, you wake up at 4 a.m. And then you just try to like go back to sleep. If not, then maybe head to the gym or I don't know, get an early breakfast at the hotel or whatever. But it's when I come home is what really fucks with me. Like I'm like completely screwed for like the first week, like screwed. Like my girlfriend will talk to me. It'll be like 6 p.m. and my girlfriend will talk to me, and she starts to see my eyes like go back in my head because I'm like exhausted, and like my body just doesn't know what time it is at all, Like so it thinks it's time to sleep, and it's time to like it's way too early to be going to sleep, So she messes with me because I get like delirious a little bit, like trying to stay awake, but there's just no fighting it, And then so I'll sleep like crazy hours the first week, and then finally, hopefully, the last couple of days I try to taper it off where I like go to bed like at a decent time, like 10 or something, 11, and then I'll be good from there. But it's the traveling sucks, man. The traveling is the hardest part for sure.
Yeah, I didn't even think about coming home. It didn't cross my mind. You probably come home. You probably come home and you're still hyped in a way, and your thoughts go through your head. Right. You probably race. Probably that's added to it. I never thought about it that way. Yeah, that's
yeah. No, I'm hyped. I'm hyped when I'm there and I'm going there. I feel great. It's when I come home and I'm exhausted from wrestling every day, and we travel every day. Like usually we travel every day. So like we're doing 4-hour bus rides, sometimes 6-hour bus rides every day. So I mean, it's really like the glam. There's not really much glamour to it when it comes to that part, like. And then at night you're up late at night because that's the only time that you've been on the bus all day. You don't want to sit on the bus. You don't want to just sit in your room. So then you go out to eat. Relax, try to unwind a little bit. Before you got to go back to the hotel where you're bored to death.
So you're probably you're really itching to get in that ring to let some steam out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
One of the greatest matches in the world.
Right. I gotta be honest. I don't know how the guys did it like back in the day, like in the 70s and the 80s, and even the early 90s. Because like in Japan, like all the hotels you're on, there's no like English TV. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And there's like you don't have a laptop. You don't have like internet. You don't have your iPad. You don't have none of that stuff. So this is why these guys like they have all these crazy stories and like. How wasted they used to get, and like I see why they used to do drugs and stuff like that because they're nuts. I mean, they're going crazy. They have nothing to do. Like we're good because we have other stuff to occupy our time, and it's easy to call home, or whatever, or send an email or something, But like, geez, man, I don't know how they do it.
Couldn't imagine being on a party with Dr. Jeff Williams and Terry Gordy.
That's why they're always like. That's why they're always ripping each other and like because they don't know what to do with themselves. Nasty boys setting off fireworks in the hallways of the hotels and like just crazy stuff. Yeah.
Good.
Okay. I guess let me ask them the next question. I want to ask you. I guess that show coming up in February, and the show the day after. Was it kind of like a lucha libre, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah. So I got I'm doing AWS here in LA on February 15th.
15th,
and then the 16th is UIPW.
UIPW.
Yeah, I'm sorry, UIWA. I can't remember. I think. Let me check. But yeah, it's a lucha show. It is a lucha show.
Yeah, and my question to you, on February, the AWS show, that's the only show you're going to appear on, or did you sign up for more shows?
Yeah, no, I'm signed for 3 shows. I got March 22nd, I believe, and then the next one is April 20-something, 26th or something like that, 25th.
Okay. Yeah, because I used to go to these shows, so I guess I can't wait to check you out on these shows coming up.
Yeah, and I think they're going to have us. They're going to put together some really interesting matches for me because that was like what we had talked about. So I think there'll be some really cool matches, maybe some first-time matches that I haven't done here in SoCal yet or anywhere. So that should be cool. And
most of this is just, and most of these shows it's just you. Alex has nothing to do with it, right?
Yeah, Alex is hurt. He hit his head. In Japan the last time. So he's actually taking. They told him to take a couple of weeks off. So he's going to take a little bit longer off and just make sure he's good. And then he'll be back in April when we head over to Ring of Honor.
All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You guys are going to be part of the Supercard in April 4th and 5th, going back to Ring of Honor. Right. Do you know who you guys are going to be booked against now or no?
No, that I don't know. I have no idea what's going on with that. But I know we'll be there. I'm sure Ring of Honor always puts together some of their best shows for that Supercard weekend, and we're looking forward to it. I would love to mix it up again with like Red Dragon. We have really good chemistry with those guys, so I think that's always a fun, good match for the folks and for us. But anybody in Ring of Honor is awesome. So I hope that they it doesn't really matter who they put us with, and I'm sure it's going to be fantastic.
Definitely. Go ahead, Chris.
How great does it feel to see a guy that you helped train, guide, accomplish so much? How proud of you must be for what Okada has done. I don't know if a lot of people realize, how instrumental were you where he's been training-wise?
Yeah, okay. So actually,
basically, because what I'm saying is basically, I don't know if a lot of people knew that. You know what I mean? And I put that out there that you had,
So actually, okay, so this is the story behind that, because it's actually not true that I trained Okada. I really didn't have anything to do with Okada's training. But but the first time I met him was like, I don't know, he must have been like 16 or 17, and he was in Ultimo Dragon's dojo in Mexico, right? So we had like a match for like Ultimo Dragon had like this Dragon Cup tournament that he had every year for like. It's supposed to be more for like young boys, but for some reason he wanted to book me in it at that time, and so it was like me and Okada was like the opening match or something like that. So ever since then, me and Okada, that's when I first met him. We had a good relationship because at that time, at 16 years old, 17, whatever he was awesome already. He was he was big, and he was you could tell that he was going to be somebody, and so for some reason I don't know how it started, but. Me and Okada, we sit kind of next to each other on the bus, and so he comes in and he shows me his Wikipedia page, and it says that I'm his trainer. So from that day on, it's just kind of like a joke that because he looks at me and he looks at the page and looks back up and he goes, "You never trained me," and so then I immediately had to put out on Twitter that I trained him, So so I always like to rib him and send out tweets every once in a while about how great. Okada is, and I did such a great job training, but there's no truth to it.
Hey, that's why we have these shows to clear the bullshit clear, but guess what?
Right.
I love it. That's awesome. Hey, you heard it here first, though, but I'm sure you're going to be great if you did train him. But take the credit. Take the credit. Screw it.
I should take the credit, right? Oh, well, I'm just kidding, guys. Yeah, I did train him. Yeah. He's my greatest. Like Antonio told me, you're my greatest student. So
there you go. The dollars are coming, bitch.
Right?
Yeah, Rocky. Last week we had David Jackson from WrestlingHeads on here, And we were talking about if when he brings back Wrestling Cares, for him, we were trying to give him like a good idea to have like a race for the ring for tag teams. Would you be like definitely down to do that with you and Alex?
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? This is my second Wrestling Cares show, and I got to say, it's an awesome show. It really is. For anybody who hasn't seen Wrestling Cares, definitely check out the DVDs. I mean, it's like the wrestling is high quality, and the show is actually put together really well, and it's very professional. And I really can't say enough good things about them. I would love to be involved in something like that if they did a tag team version of the Race for the Ring. I think that'd be awesome. I think it'd be cool. It'd be different, and and that's what we need is especially for a smaller independent. I mean, if you want to, make some waves. I mean, you got to be a little different. You got to bring something different to the table. That's why Chikara has done well, Ring of Honor, PWG, is because those shows are different, and the quality of wrestling is high. Just as high as it would be anywhere else in New Japan or WWE. So. They're doing something right there.
Yeah, we were talking to David. Just imagine all the teams that could be part of that, tournament. You got the Hooligans. We can throw in Young Bucks. You can throw in Red Dragon. Anybody. It's a lot of great tag teams out there right now. So
absolutely.
I think it's a brilliant.
I mean, even locally, Rock Nest Monsters. I mean, Los Luchas. I mean, there's a ton of teams too that are just in the Los Angeles. That would be awesome. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. And they can actually run both tournaments at the same time, or to keep it interesting. I mean. Instead of having all singles matches for the Race of the Ring, I mean, I don't know. There's a bunch of stuff they could do with that. That's a hell of an idea.
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead, Oscar.
Yeah, I see that you accomplished a lot in your career. You won the Ring of Honor Tag Champs. You did your thing out there in New Japan as well. Is there something? Is there a common goal you're planning to do in your career now? Is there something that you want to accomplish, like a show that you never participate, or WWE, TNA? Is there something right now that you want to accomplish now? Your main focus, your goal right now?
That's a good question, actually. I feel like right now, something a little bit of a crossroads in my career, because I'm just kind of trying to figure out what I should do next. I mean, if you kind of look at my career, I've kind of always jumped around every couple of years, to keep it fresh for myself, and for the fans too. But I mean, mostly myself. I mean, I've kind of jumped around all around the world really to keep things kind of fresh and new experiences. But I'm kind of, I don't know. I'm kind of torn. I love where I'm at with New Japan right now. And I love it there, and I think it's, the greatest company on the earth right now, and the wrestling is amazing, and they treat me well. But there's a part of me too that also wants to, see what else is out there, and and really make it here in the States, because this is my home, So I would love to make it on to WWE TV and and have the same success that I've had internationally on WWE TV, So, but you never know. You never know what will happen. You never know what the future holds. So we'll see what happens. But that's always a possibility. I feel like, and it could be, that possibility could manifest sooner than later.
I have a question, Rocky. Kind of going off of what Oscar just asked you, and you said maybe it's that you would like to try to get in the WWE. If you were to get signed to the WWE, because I noticed lately, if they sign guys, they like having them go down to their development. Would you be willing to do that, or would you want to go straight to the main roster?
I mean, I would love to go straight to the main roster. But I got to be honest, my favorite show right now on WWE is NXT. I love that show. I actually love it. I think it's fantastic, and I think that show can grow even more, you know. And I think it's still kind of a new concept since they've been at Full Sail. Maybe they've been there like a year or so now, right? So
yeah.
I mean, they could still grow and turn into something special and really be like an awesome third brand. And I wouldn't mind being on that show, you know, especially and learning and developing something special there to take to, you know, Raw after, you know. And then I want to go for the gold. I want Raw, you know, or something like that. You know, something like how the Wyatts did.
Yeah.
They were able to kind of start something there and kind of work on it a little bit. Because even as a professional, I mean, you don't know what's going to work and what's not going to work. So it sucks when they give you an opportunity and they put you on Raw with, you know, and they say, here, okay, well, this is the opportunity, go for it. Sometimes shit happens, you know, and shit flops, or because you're not really sure about what exactly you're supposed to do. I mean, and it happens, you know. So I would love to get that chance to do a little test run in NXT. I think it's a safe way to go, and I think, you know, it's the smart way to go.
Yeah. The reason why I ask, because, you know, a lot of wrestling fans, even like myself, we get kind of upset when we see our guys, you know, that work their asses off. They have to go to NXT first before they make their main roster, you know.
Right. I understand why they do it. Plus, they just built they just spent so much money building that place, and, you know, and it's smart. I mean, a lot of us, I mean, like a Generico or something like that, I mean, he's ready for the main roster for sure, you know. But, I mean, when he actually makes it up to the main roster, which I hope soon, I'm sure he's going to look back and say, like, I didn't mind being in NXT, because nobody really knows. I mean, nobody really knew what Generico was going to be like once he took that mask off. You know what I'm saying? And it was a good opportunity for him to kind of make sure that he knew exactly who he was before he gets moved up to that roster. And because once you get moved up to that roster and you fail, sometimes that's it, you know? You go home.
Yeah.
They'll send you home after. So, I mean, for guys, and it would suck to see somebody who's worked that hard all their career to get to that point, getting that one shot, and then they get rid of them, you know? That would be the more painful to watch.
Yeah, like,
so, he's in a different situation as well. He's not only reworking his craft, what he's done his whole life, he's introducing the masses to the new character of himself, and that's a big step too.
Exactly.
You know?
And look how awesome it is. I mean, Grammy's just being himself, you know, and it shows, and like it's an actual person that you're watching up on that screen. It's not a character or anything. It's more than that. It's an actual person, and people can identify with that. And he's one of the best wrestlers on the planet, you know.
Definitely.
So how could you not be interested and drawn in by a guy like that? But it's a good chance. I think it's good that he got that opportunity on NXT. Not saying that he wouldn't be able to do it on Raw, you know, if they would have put him in that position. I'm not saying that all the guy's extremely talented, but I know in my position I wouldn't mind getting a little test run the way that he came in, you know, on NXT first, and then, you know, okay, hey, move me up to the main roster. Let's make some gold now, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead, Chris.
All right, and it's like earlier, you've wrestled all over the world. Is there still a place that, and I would say mark out for it, like you're just in awe, a venue, an arena that when you go there, it's that place that you're just still in awe. Is there one specific place?
Like that I've already done, or a place that I would like to do?
Yeah, like when you come back. Let's say like a Corcoran Hall. Like you show up at Corcoran Hall, it's always that same feeling.
Yeah, especially when it's a sold-out Corcoran, man. There's nothing more awesome than a sold-out Corcoran show, you know? Because, I mean, there's just fans everywhere. They're standing, and they are just so excited to see wrestling, and they also know you extremely well. So they know your character. They know, you know. That's where, for somebody like me, that's where I can really have a lot of fun, you know, is because I can play with stuff and try different things. Where usually, you know, like if you're out in on the road somewhere, we're out in like an outside town, you know, they don't really know your character as much, you know, so like things that you do, you have to really dumb things down for them, you know. But in Corkin, you can, you know, turn it up, and you can have like these a little more complicated wrestling matches and stuff like that, and it's just fun because the atmosphere and the electricity is just through the roof, you know. It really blows other buildings away, I think, Corkin in the world.
They've seen so much. They've seen so much history. That building, and it still to this day holds so many freaking events, but the history.
Right.
And that's the place, man. I mean, like I said, I've been to ECW Arena, I've been to Hammerstein, I've been to PWG, but the place, man. I mean, and then you just answered the question, reiterates why I want to go there, but they've seen so much.
Yeah, they do. They see a lot. And you know what, though? And but the fans, too, they're not spoiled, though, either, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they see a lot, but they're still very appreciative, and they don't feel like you're gypping them if if you're in the first match, you know, and you know you're not, I mean, you don't give them like a fucking main event match, you know, because like Japan isn't really set up that way, you know. Like you work hard, you put on good solid matches and everything, but you know it's not like a PWG where as many crazy shit as you can do is the best, you know what I'm saying? It's really not set up that way. So I mean, they're still extremely appreciative, and they're actually happy to be there and happy to watch wrestling, which is so fun for the guys who are doing it, you know, because I think fans forget, you know. I think and like when I was a fan, like and I'm still a fan, but I remember having, certain attitudes about guys like, oh man, well he didn't work hard enough or something like that, or blah, 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 you know. And it wasn't really, and I understand it's not really like, oh, he didn't work hard enough or whatever. I mean, it's just like, there's a time and place for everything, you know, in wrestling, and now that I'm older, I kind of understand that a little more. And I think fans, when they see a lot and they get a lot, then they get a little like, spoiled, I guess,
jaded.
in a way. You know, jaded. Exactly, jaded.
Yeah.
And
I couldn't imagine.
Tough as a performer to deal with that as well, you know.
I couldn't imagine being in Corcoran Hall at a 45-minute mark, you know, when those crowd goes wild. I mean, that comes across on TV. I couldn't imagine being you and just being in there and feeling that energy. I mean, that must be top of.
You feel like Superman. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you actually like that's as close as I could say. Like, I'll feel like Superman and like know what that kind of feels like. You know what I'm saying? Like, better than any drug in the world or whatever. Or, you know, I mean, like, there's really like no other feeling better than that. I would say.
I believe it. Hey, I feel like Superman at 4:30 in the morning on Ustream, so I can't. So, go ahead, guys.
Hey, I was gonna say I stayed up late too watching Wrestle Kingdom. Actually, I'm not gonna lie, that was my first New Japan Pro Wrestling show that I actually ordered. I stayed up late watching. I
forced them to get it.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, Chris is definitely one of the reasons why I'm getting into more than just the WWE.
Right.
So yeah.
Well, no, you know what though? It's not me. It's not me whatsoever. It's those guys, what they're doing over there, putting off great frigging work. I mean, I have nothing to do with turning you onto it at all. So let me just,
definitely.
It's the work that they're doing. Is that
Chris makes her.
I just watch on TV.
Hey, Chris makes a good point.
Credit for that.
Chris makes a good point.
Yep.
Definitely.
You know what? New Japan is putting on some amazing stuff. Like right now, is like really like another golden era type thing for New Japan. You know, and it's only going to get better. I think in the next couple of years, as as Naito's and and some of the new blood even comes up a little higher. And I mean, like, you got to think Okada's 25 years old, 26 years old.
Yeah.
And he's got a long way to go still. And he's already up there, wrestling classics against Tanahashi. You know, so like we don't even know what the business is going to go from now. Yeah,
and it's not just him. It's not just him and yourself. You got Nakamura, who just blows me away. I mean, the list goes on and on. And I'm not trying to hog this show, but I have to ask this question. You brought that up, where they're going in the future. There's a lot of rumors of them coming back to the United States, which would be awesome. But do you think there will ever be a time where New Japan will be on TV in the States? I mean, is that remotely in the future plans?
As much as I love New Japan, I don't personally see them having like a TV show anywhere in the States, because I don't think, because you know why? Because Americans, and you know, we're just a little weird about products from other countries, you know, and especially when we're not like, it hasn't already been introduced to us like at an earlier time, like when like say if New Japan was introduced like in like the 70s or the 80s, they might have a good chance. But like, just I don't know, like I don't really see that happening, you know. I like, it would be cool if they could have a really good relationship with a company like a TNA or a Ring of Honor or something like that, and then they can maybe have some introduction there. But you know, the whole thing with the TNA thing, I mean, TNA really dropped the ball when having New Japan, and being an affiliate before, because like they had access to all this great stuff. Yeah, they showed that global impact. I mean, it made TNA look a lot better than what TNA was doing, you know. I mean, they had this massive event at the Tokyo Dome. I mean, TNA can't do that, you know. And then I don't know what happened. It's like it just disappeared, you know. And it seemed like, and they would never bring the New Japan guys over. I mean, look, they had Okada, and look what a superstar they had with him, and they did nothing with him, nothing. So
that shows you their mindset.
Exactly.
You know, it shows you that they're bullish.
Right. It also shows you how maybe Americans or maybe a Spike TV might look at something like that and maybe not see the value in it, you know. So it kind of shows both things there. But I mean, TNA really should have pushed it though. I mean, they should have really they had Tanahashi come in. I mean, why not have him wrestle, you know, AJ on a pay-per-view or, you know, whoever it is for the belt, you know? Why not put him over? Why not see what happens? Why not just see what happens? At least give it a try. I mean, there's so much dumb stuff that we try in wrestling all the time that doesn't work. Why not try to, you know, to do something different, at least when you're working with a company like that, you know? Why not?
Talk about a guy who could bridge that gap between Japanese and Americans is Tanahashi. That guy exudes what it is as a professional wrestler. And talk about a guy who could be that flag bearer. He's, you know, 7-time champ. I mean, he's got the pedigree that could bridge for you guys being somewhere, you know, on some type of channel over here. I mean, or work with TNA, like you said, or Ring of Honor.
Right.
I mean, and then you guys, so much great talent over there, like you guys too as well. It ties my head in knots.
Right. I mean, look at that main event from Wrestle Kingdom. I mean, with the entrances and the whole shebang. I mean,
that was sweet.
I would say, like I think any just wrestling fan would watch that and be like, what the fuck is this? And be automatically interested in what was going on for the next 15 minutes, you know, for sure. So I mean, it was a good test, and you know, it'd be cool if somebody could, you know, work with them and figure it out how to make it all work, you know. But I don't know if we'd ever see it. Unfortunately, at least we got the internet pay-per-views, you know, and I hope that they'll get. Well, my suggestion to New Japan would be is to get a English announcer, commentator,
yes,
and or play-by-play and color guy, because I think that would be explain the product for people who are first timers like Gits or whatever, you know, and they could kind of understand a little bit more about why these characters, you know, why does Shinsuke, you know, gyrate like Michael Jackson? What is this things, you know? I mean, why, you know? So we get to explain that, and I think that they'll pick up more steam, and more people will follow the product, and more people will order the pay-per-views and stuff like that, and then it could turn into something a little more special, you know?
Yeah.
I like this shit. We're learning shit. I love this show. I love this. Yeah. We're learning shit.
I have a question for Rocky. It's kind of non-wrestling related, kind of in a way. It's still related to the Forever Hooligans. Who did you guys' theme music? I just need to know.
I did. Yeah,
I love it.
I made it. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I made the beat, obviously, because, when we were the NRC, me and Davey Richards were using Rick Ross, and then we had some copyright issues, like, with them, because, like, they couldn't play it on certain TV shows and stuff like that, so I actually, like, make beats and stuff like that as just as a hobby, like, when I'm on the road and I'm bored, or I'm at home or something, like, I don't know, sometimes I like to make music and stuff like that, so I made the beat, and then me and Kozlov, when we were in the hotel one night in Japan, we got some chuhais, which are like Japanese, like it's like rice alcohol, but they're like kind of sweet, but they get you like real drunk. So we had like 2 of those, and then we did the rap and the whole and the hook and everything and all that. So he raps in Russian. So anybody who doesn't listen to it, Kozlov raps in Russian, I rap in English, and then we sing the hook. It's like you can download it on SoundCloud. If you look up Asuka Rock on SoundCloud, it'll come right up. AZUCARROC, and it should be up there available for download.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely have to take a listen to that again, because I didn't realize it was you guys.
Yeah, that's us.
Yeah. Go ahead, Oscar.
Yeah, I just want to ask him about, earlier you mentioned about Bryan Danielson. I know we all know him as Daniel Bryan today in the WWE. I just pretty much have like 2 questions about him. First of all, what's your thoughts of what he's doing in WWE today? He's having the crowd chanting yes every time he's out there. And do you still keep in touch with him today?
First, I don't see Brian. I haven't seen Brian in probably, it's been a while, maybe like 5 years or something like that. So we don't really keep in touch much or anything, but, we're cool. We're good. If we saw each other, we might have some dinner and something like that. But no, we're not like, I don't know, we just don't really keep track. And it's crazy because in this business, you'll be working with somebody, you guys will see each other every day for 2 years, and then you won't see them again for like 10 years. It's just weird like that, and unfortunately, it's just the way the business is. But right now, I think Brian is awesome, just amazing. Like on TV, the matches that he's producing and how he has the crowd so wrapped up around him, you know what I'm saying? Like, really, like, it is just cool. And it just goes to show you that, like, he's an extremely talented dude. He's extremely smart, and even the simplest things like a yes and a no are now going to forever be a part of wrestling. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be like this, like the Steve Austin what, or, whatever, or all the things The Rock used to do. I mean, those things will be forever a part of wrestling. The yes and no are not going to go anywhere because they're the 2 most common words in the English language, So it's forever now embedded into the wrestling fans' minds, So that ain't going away. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. That's his thing,
Yeah, he just started this whole yes thing. I mean, not just only in wrestling, but in baseball.
Right.
Yeah, and also keep it a wrestling. I remember I heard that chant during a TNA show going on, and I also believe I might have heard it on the Ring of Honor show. I'm not quite sure, but I might have did. But I know other shows, even indie shows, the yes thing is so big,
Even at fucking Miami Heat games and shit.
Yeah, Miami Heat. There you go, basketball. So, yeah.
Yeah, man, and that just goes to show you, man, that like to be honest, this is why WWE is extremely smart about doing this WWE network, is because it just goes to show you how strong the WWE audience is, and how strong it is, because look how it'll transcend into other parts of, like wrestling's such the redhead stepchild of the entertainment business, but look how important and what a pillar it actually is in the entertainment world, because it'll make it everywhere, to sports, to other things. I mean, you'll probably see it on TV shows here and there, you know what I mean? But wrestling and especially the WWE product is strong, man. And that's why this WWE network I think is incredible. And I think it's smart by them, and I think it's good for the wrestlers and the guys because more people I think will get hired, and there'll be more spots because now they need to make content, you know, and fresh content. So yeah. I think it's good. I think it's good for the business overall, and I think that we're finally going to see a little bit more of a boom coming up in the next couple of years, you know. In the next maybe 2 or 3 years, it's going to go up a little bit, and the business is going to become a little better. And which means that the product is better too, I think, you know.
Yeah, and not only we did that, I also the young viewers who was barely getting to like watching wrestling today, like an 8-year-old who never saw like a great rivalry between like Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. They never get to witness, and now they have opportunity to do that. Or you could say back in the late 80s between the Ultimate Warrior and Rick Rude, which I mentioned on our website, how that rivalry was pretty good back then, you know?
Man, that's okay, right there. That's actually a big memory for me, from my childhood, was Ultimate Warrior and Rick Rude. When the Hogan Ultimate Warrior thing, I mean, I was a Super Warrior fan. I mean, I had the whole, you know, I'd take off my shoestrings from my shoes, and I used to wrap around my arms and shit like that, run around the house like an idiot. But because I was so into the Warrior, and it was really because I hated Rick Rude so much too. I mean, that was a big part of it because he was just such a dick, man. He was such a dick, and I hated him. But now, I mean, the roles are reversed. I love Rick Rude. I think he was so good at what he did that he definitely helped to make the Ultimate Warrior who he was, you know. And
Bobby. Then he had Bobby Heenan too to boot.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't even need Bobby Heenan. That's how.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, absolutely.
And then, but you put. I mean, that's just like having Paul Heyman in your side. You know, I mean, it's just like it. It's incredible. I mean, that's like Paul Heyman and Punk together. You know, against the babyface. I mean, they're gonna make that babyface even more special. You know, and make you want to, you know, root for that guy. You know.
Yeah, definitely. I guess I'll pass along to, I'm guessing, Chris.
I mean, like I said, I got a million questions, but the thing that I just want to say is what you guys are doing, you and Alex, to me would be perfect, fit like a perfect glove in what the WWE is doing right now. I mean, I've seen you guys a number of times, and when I watch you guys, and this has been a while, like these guys would be perfect. You know what I mean? I think the crowd would instantly be attracted to, you know what I mean? And I mean, that's just what I think. I don't know, who am I, but yeah,
I agree with Chris.
It's so obvious. I mean, and second of all, I'm rambling, but how is Alex? I heard that he's hurt. Is he good? Or?
Yeah. He's all right. They suggested that he take a few weeks off. So he was looking to take some time off anyway and just kind of rest up. And last year he had an injury, re-injured his quad. I'm sorry, his hamstring. And so he wants to let that heal a little bit, and obviously let his head heal. So he'll be back though, April. That's just right around the corner. He'll be back to work full time.
Yeah. Last time, actually, I hate to say this, when I met you guys in Philly, he kept looking. I had to chop that freaking Dojo Brothers shirt. He kept saying it every time I saw him. It was great. But anyway, it was great just how he said it. It was awesome.
Right.
But anyway. Yeah, well, like I said, I just believe that what you guys are doing will transcend so much on what WWE's product would be at.
Yes,
I think ridiculous.
So. I think definitely. I mean, I think what we're doing is a little bit different, and what's cool is it's fun, but like we're still actually putting on good matches, you know. So like, and it's not like. It's fun, but it's not like it's not over the top. It's just like I think like it's just right, you know. So we're both and it's a good mixture. And we're two completely different characters, and like really like we're kind of opposites in some ways, but like somehow like we really mesh well, you know. So it works. I think it works for TV, and it'll definitely could work in the WWE or something like that if given the opportunity to do so.
Yeah.
It's not just WWE. I'd wish that Ring of Honor would showcase that. Ring of Honor would
anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would love to see to be able to do a little bit longer of a run in Ring of Honor, and actually really play with it, where we got to do more promos and stuff like that, to really have that to play with the characters more. You know what I'm saying? That would be fun, and I think it'd be fun. It'd make it for good TV.
Yeah. We're trust us. We talk you guys up quite a bit, so
yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thanks for putting us over.
Yeah, definitely, man. I know you guys got T-shirts. I saw that sweet T-shirt that the guy with the skirt, the guy with the skirt.
Yeah. Hey, Zeus.
Yeah. Can you tell our listeners where they can find your tees?
We're working on an online store right now, and that was supposed to be up, but we haven't gotten it up yet. So we might actually just end up doing the pro wrestling tees, just to get it out there for now. And but right now we're selling them in Japan. They're part of the official New Japan merchandise stuff now. So that's pretty cool. But I will let you guys know. If you guys follow me on Twitter, it's Azuka Rock, AZUCARROC. You can follow me on Twitter there, or type in Rocky Romero in the search. I should pop up, and I'll definitely be keeping people updated on the T-shirt situation, because we actually get a lot of people hitting us up about that.
Yeah. Now that we got on the whole T-shirt, the whole T-shirt talk, I have a question, because I'm pretty sure Chris and the rest of the guys were definitely wondering, where can we find New Japan Pro Wrestling tees to get out here in the United States? Because there's a couple shirts that I like to get. Just a plain.
That's something that I'll mention to the office, but I'm not sure that they're for resale. I mean, if you could figure out somehow on the website, I think they might ship it to you, but it's all in Japanese or whatever.
Yeah. What you have to do, real quick, you have to basically get a middleman. New Japan, their website offers a middleman, and they basically send it to that group, and then they offer a fee to send it to the United States. But they also, which jacks up the shipping price. But the best way is go to Google Chrome, and they do the translate for you. But I've been doing it for, I've been searching for years to get every type of thing, and that's what I've come up with. So if anyone's listening,
I'm gonna suggest that. I mean, what's cool is that you guys are giving me suggestions to take back to New Japan, and definitely about the English commentary would be good. And then I never really think about the merchandise and stuff like that, but there's always people that always ask about New Japan merchandise, where to get it, and I really don't have an answer for them except for I think you'd have to figure it out outside and blah blah. So maybe they could figure out something to because that's the whole. Obviously they're doing the IP reviews because they want to expand their audience. So now the audience obviously wants to get involved, and they want they might want a Rainmaker T-shirt or a Tanahashi or Forever Hooligans. So that's important. So
who is Gato? Is Gato the booker, or that's what I'm reading? That is he the booker, or who is the booker?
He's the booker.
Okay, I've always wanted to know that too. And since you're on, damn it, I'm asking.
But kayfabe, guys, kayfabe.
Yes.
So I'll definitely mention that to the office and stuff like that. Sometimes they ask us for input and things. So
yeah, definitely. Oscar, do you have another question?
Yeah, I know earlier we were mentioning about the WCW Cruiserweight division back in those days, but let's just say if there's a DeLorean, like a time machine, actually exists, and you could go back to the late 90s and you can wrestle at one match in WCW against that division, who you want to wrestle against and why? And it's your choice.
Okay. I would want to be in a 4-way for the Cruiserweight title against Jericho, Eddie, and Ray. And me.
Wow.
Young
Rey Mysterio against you, that would be nice.
Yeah. On like a cool pay-per-view like Halloween Havoc or like something cool like that, you know.
Starcade?
Bash at the Beach?
Or Starcade, maybe. Yeah. Nah, hell no, not Bash at the Beach.
Shit, anywhere.
That match? That's like one of the worst
anywhere.
That match could be on Nitro.
Yeah.
That could be on
or
that
you
would
know
be...
what? Or on a Nitro, because we could probably get like some time to really do something, you know. So that actually might be cool on a Nitro. Like when they were like 3 hours, like you could have like a 12-minute match, you know. So
that would be wild. That would be. Yeah, that would be kept by. If that match happened in 1897, I would still have that on DVD to this day, and it would be downstairs next to my. That would be pretty fucking sweet.
Yeah, that would be sweet. Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. I guess Skits or Chris, when you guys.
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go and ask this question. I wasn't gonna ask you because I usually ask this to all of our guests. If you were to have your own promotion and you had to hire three wrestlers or managers, whatever, who would be the first 3 people you hire?
I'd hire Prince Devitt, the Machine Gun, Carl Anderson, and Shinsuke Nakamura.
Okay. Man. Big fan of Bullet Club.
Me and Rocky got to go bowling, man. That's exactly what happened. Am I right or wrong? What a fuck! What a start of a promotion.
I mean, I really I need like 15, 20, but I mean, yeah, I mean, like, I would start with those. Those would be fun to start with.
Yeah, man. Big fan of.
I was starting my own promotion. If I was starting my own promotion, yeah.
Yeah. The big fan of Prince Devitt there, and
yeah.
Carl Anderson, such a crazy guy.
Yeah. Get you guy. But he, you know, I mean, but see the thing that, you know, like Machine Gun can talk too, you know, so like people don't really, I don't think get to see that part. Yeah, but he can talk.
Best heel in the business.
What's that?
He's the best heel in the business in my book. I mean, I've been saying that for.
He's a fantastic. He puts on just awesome matches, you know, like, and he can work with anybody. His timing is you know, and there's all stuff, you know, like, you know, I for sure that I see people and how they work and stuff like that and how they wrestle, and he's got all these mechanics to be like, you know, that guy, you know, to be a star. He's got the star mechanic, you know, the way he moves and stuff like that. And I know, and he can talk. I think he just, you know, you get the right character and the right opportunity, just give it to him, and, you know, he's there. I mean, look at the match he did with Tanahashi last year. I mean, blew the roof off of that place, you know.
He's smooth. You know, I mean, that's basically, for his size, he's smooth as glass.
Yep.
He's phenomenal.
I love Devitt, you know, Devitt, you know, I mean, he looks like $1 million. He looks like a star, you know, he wrestles like a star. I think, you know, and look how much he has grown in the last year, you know, after turning heel and everything like that. I mean, like, it's a completely different person than we've seen in the last, you know, 3 or 4 years, you know, being the top of the junior heavyweight division. So, just I say, you know, if you give him a little more to see what happens, you know.
Hey, hopefully greatness for all of you, you know. Hopefully greatness for all of you. That's basically, that's what I'm cheering for, and that's no shit. That's not just because you're on. We truly, people I hang out with and people and the guys on the show, we truly go to these shows and cheer for you guys, not only for that night, but for future. So,
yeah,
we're with you, man.
Thank you.
WrestlingHeads.
WrestlingHeads.
Yeah, that's what we are. But yeah, I believe Oscar's going to be at that AWS show. I won't be able to make it, but I'm going to come to that February show. No, hold on. You're gonna be at the February show, right?
Yeah, February show and the March and April show of AWS.
Okay. I'll be at the February show. 'Cause I know they have one coming up in January. So actually this weekend.
Oh yeah. I won't be at that one.
Okay, for sure. So you'll be at AWS on February 15th?
Every AWS February 15th. I've got Lucha in East LA on the 16th. I have February 22nd. I'm in San Francisco with PWR, which should be really awesome. They got Blue Demon, Super Crazy. I was on the show, and myself, cheerleader Melissa. So that should be really sweet. I mean, you never know. WrestlingHeads road trip right there, guys. And what else do I got? And then I got March for AWS. And, I mean, I got a couple things here in Southern California. I might throw in an old school EWF show in there one time just to take it back to the old school. I love Jesse. Shout out to Jesse Hernandez and the School of Hard Knocks there, EWF. And I don't know. We'll see. And definitely you guys will be seeing me in April, Ring of Honor. And we'll see. I'm sure there'll be a Japan trip here and there in between. So we'll
Any
see.
plans on you going back to Gorilla?
Not currently, but you never know. I love doing Gorilla, so you know, if it happens, it happens. But there's no plans right now for that.
Yeah,
so.
Definitely. Chris, you have a question?
Like I said, I mean, I could talk for hours. I had 35 questions about him, and I've seen, like, I feel like I've hogged it up quite a bit. Oscar, you go ahead. Like I can go for an hour, and I don't know how much time he has. You know what I mean? I don't want to hog it up. Go ahead, Oscar.
Yeah. I got about.
But I'll ask him a question though.
I got about another 5 minutes, guys. So if you guys want to.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then this will be my final question. Then, I know earlier you mentioned about the Ultimate Warrior. You're an Ultimate Warhead, but what's your thoughts of him going in the Hall of Fame? And I know you mentioned about his feud with Rick Rude earlier. Do you think Rick Rude should be in the same class with the Warrior?
Yes, absolutely. I think both of them should be, you know, inducted. I mean, obviously, you know, the Warrior for the WWE alone was huge, but definitely Rick Rude, you know, all over the world, WCW, NWA, WWE, you know, I mean, he was a staple in everywhere he went. So definitely he should be. I would love to see him being a part of that class and getting the recognition that he deserves, you know, because he was phenomenal. I mean, I remember watching like a 60-minute Iron Man match with Ricky Steamboat from WCW, some WCW pay-per-view. I remember watching that, and that just blew my mind, man. I mean, the guy could wrestle, and he was an awesome character and talker, you know. Yeah. So he definitely deserves it.
Yeah, that would be nice, because I know in the past they had Hulk Hogan go in the same class with Roddy Piper, and they had a classic rivalry. And it would be nice to see them both go in the same class, if it's possible. But,
right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, that's my final question. I guess I'll pass it on to Chris.
Chris has got like 10 more, so.
No, like I said, I know you only have a few more minutes, and like I said, I could talk your ear off and become annoying. So, but like I said, we're behind you, man, and we're always, you know, we're rooting for you guys. So.
Well, thank you guys. I appreciate the support from you guys. Definitely, you guys are doing a good thing with the Wrestling Heads show, and you know, and it's all about, you know, broadening that audience and showing people that, you know, there are things outside of WWE that are really, you know, just as good or better, and, you know, and there's, you know, wrestlers out there that you might not know about that can, you know, give you that, you know, that you can watch and that are, you know, just as amazing. So,
yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, before you go up, you want to throw out your Twitters and Facebooks and stuff? You want to throw out your plugs?
Facebook, you can find me, Rocky Romero. It should come right up. I got a fan page up there. And so make sure you like it. And also Twitter, Azucar Rock, AZUCAR, ROC. AZUCARROCU. Write it down, take a picture, hit me up on Twitter, and or hit me up at the show. Just tell me what's up. I'm definitely going to be working on the T-shirt stuff, so I'll be posting about that in the next couple of weeks for sure.
Yeah, definitely, man. We'll definitely catch you at AWS, and we'll talk some more.
Very cool. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Thanks again, man.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me on, everybody. Chris, Oscar, Skits, appreciate it, man. And I'll see you guys at one of the shows here in the near future. WrestlingHeads Radio, baby. Woo!
Yeah.
All right. All right, peace, man.
Thanks.
Rocky Romero, man. Definitely fun interview. That's actually that's our first interview with a wrestler this year, too.
Yes. And you know what? Just before you put on commercial, I just want to say we got to get a soundbite for him.
Definitely. Yeah, man. Chris, I'm sure Chris definitely enjoyed it.
Well, I've been chomping a bit to speak to someone who's affiliated with that promotion. And you understand, I've been watching Japan since 87, 88. You know what I mean? Like, as hard as I watch it today, I've been watching it since. So any information that I could gather for not just for myself but for the show, I'm in heaven. Like I said, I could have talked his ear off and he would have probably hung up. So I stopped.
Yeah, but I definitely had fun.
I didn't want to get his ear in a headlock like we were at a bar, so I stopped. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. But real quick, let's take a quick break, and we'll get back to talk about some shit that happened tonight, maybe, and not so of that one guy. We'll be right back.
I'm sorry I don't have anything really cool to say like the other guys, but you're listening to WrestlingHeads Radio, and this is Candice LeRae. Mwah.
Four Corners Radio is the home for the best professional wrestling and independent wrestling, discussions and coverage. Billy, Ant, Martin, and Sam bring you three of the best podcasts every week. The Four Corners Raw Roundtable, the Indie Project, and the Saturday Freestyle. Along with the podcast, FourCornersWrestling.com is designed with all wrestling fans in mind. Feature articles, videos, the weekly shows, and much more. Four Corners and WrestlingHeads are teaming up to bring you wrestling's next revolution. Are you ready? Welcome back to WrestlingHeads Radio. You got Skits, Chris, and Oscar. Great interview. Tonight, Raw was not so good for the home run show. Basically, the go home show. But I definitely one match that caught my eye tonight, and I'm surprised this match just caught my eye, was Rey Mysterio versus Del Rio match. Great match by both of those dudes.
Yeah, it just seems like they're getting. It's if you notice back when Del Rio first debuted, he actually went against Rey Mysterio, and it just seems like they're getting an understanding with each other, and now that it was reported over the weekend that Rey Mysterio wants to have a WrestleMania match, and it seems like they're confident that they'll pull up a great match in WrestleMania. So I don't know if they're going to go with that, but it just seems like every time they're in the ring together, they're learning, like you can say, their craft, their style, their charisma is getting better between the two. So, yeah.
Yeah. It was definitely. I was definitely shocked that I was scared at the end when Del Rio. It looked like he was going to lose when that 619, and Del Rio got the rope. Coming to my head,